everyone, it's Ellen. You know how much I love a good story, and today's is a doozy. It's about a regular guy named John. John had a lawnmower, liked his sandwiches cut diagonally, the usual. But then John had an experience that was anything but usual. He says he went to hell and back. Now I know what you're thinking. Ellen, is this for real? And that's what I thought too. But John tells his story in such a matter-of-fact way, you almost believe it could happen to you. He's not preachy, doesn't want to scare anyone. He just wants to share what he saw. Or he saw. John's story really makes you think. What if they're an afterlife and it wasn't all harps and clouds? What if instead of pearly gates there were fiery pits? John's story isn't for the faint of heart, but it's told with a wink and a nudge, like he can't quite believe it himself. So buckle up, buttercups, because we're going on a wild ride. John's trip to the underworld wasn't some dramatic, fiery fall from the sky. Nope, it was way more mundane than that. He was mowing his lawn, minding his own business, when he tripped over a garden gnome. One minute he was staring at petunias, the next, well, let's just say the landscaping was a lot less pleasant. Gone was the summer breeze, replaced by, well, John described it as what a barbecue pit would smell like if you used sweat socks as kindling. And hot, like standing too close to the easy-bake oven when you were a kid hot. But here's where it gets weird. John said it wasn't the heat that got to him, it was the paperwork. Apparently there's an entire bureaucratic system down there. Demons with clipboards, lines longer than the DMV on a Friday afternoon. Seems like even in the afterlife you can't escape red tape. John said he tried to explain it was all a big misunderstanding, but the demon in charge just chuckled and said, "You're telling, buddy? I'm stuck with data entry for eternity." Now I know what you're thinking. Ellen, this is getting a little scary. But trust me, John told it all with a twinkle in his eye. He said hell was like a cross between a really bad day at the beach and that one uncle's house that always smelled like cabbage. The sand was actually ground-up glass, and the ocean? Molten cheese. Okay, that part sound kinda delicious. And the demons. John said they weren't these big scary monsters. They were more like annoying co-workers who wouldn't stop borrowing your stapler. There was one demon who kept offering John timeshare presentations, and another who just complained about his love life. John said he actually felt kinda bad for them, but the punishments? That's where it got interesting. John said hell wasn't about fire and brimstone, it was about personalized torture. Like, remember that time you stole a cookie from the cookie jar? Boom! Eternity of watching cookie dough burn in the oven, cheated on a test, enjoy an endless loop of that song Friday by Rebecca Black. You get the idea. Section 4. Humor in the Darkness. John's story, despite its setting, was surprisingly funny. He said the best part was the demon stand-up comedy night. Apparently even demons need a laugh every now and then. Their material? Mostly puns about eternal damnation and bad hair days. John said it was like open mic night at a sulfur factory. He even made friends with a demon named Earl who was a huge Elvis fan. Earl snuck John extra ice for his fiery lemonade and even taught him how to play hound dog on the flaming ukulele. John said that even in the depths of hell there was still kindness and camaraderie to be found. It's like that old saying, laughter is the best medicine, even if the medicine tastes like brimstone. John's ability to find humor in such a bizarre situation, well, it's kinda inspiring. It reminds us that even when things are tough, a little laughter can go a long way. So what did John learn from his trip to the underworld? Was it all fire and brimstone? Well, yes, there was some of that. But mostly, John said hell was a mirror. It reflected back all the little choices we make, the good and the bad. It showed him that every action has a consequence, even if it's just a burnt cookie or a bad song stuck in your head. John's story isn't meant to scare us, but to wake us up a little. It's a reminder to be kinder, to think about the consequences of our actions and maybe, just maybe, be a little bit better today than we were yesterday. And hey, if we can find a little humor along the way, even better. Because as John learned, even in hell, there's always room for a good laugh. So there you have it, folks. John's wild ride to the other side. It's a story that makes you think, makes you laugh, and maybe even makes you want to be a little bit kinder to that annoying coworker who keeps stealing your stapler. You never know, it might just save you from an eternity of bad puns and molten cheese. Until next time, be kind to one another and stay awesome.